Hi, everybody. Welcome
Hey,
to the Psychic Live. There, now I can see everybody. We're really excited to have Londie Benson today as a guest, and we are waiting for Jackie. She's going to come in late, a little bit later. So, hi, Andy. How are you?
good. How are you doing, Debbie?
Um,
Londie?
I'm good.
I'm good. Um, so let's do just a little tiny round table. It'll be Andy and then me and then Londi about just like any new news or what's new in the paranormal stuff or with us. So go ahead, Andy.
So, really, the same things that I'm doing is I did get all of my images cropped for my tarot deck, so I'll be working on that tonight. Um, and also, i- it's been kind of a challenge though doing the Kindle edition of our book. So, I'll be working on that a little bit,
Oh,
and
I
that
can help you with that. You know,
Um, oh,
I'll be
oh
around.
yeah, it's just
Sneaky.
you would think that you could just like put the file in and everything would be squared away, but it's
Yeah,
not.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah, it comes out, it can come out really crazy looking.
yeah,
Well, I'll talk to you about that later. Certainly, we can look at that. We want to get that done and get that going. Since you talked about the book, it is for sale now, everybody. It's for sale
Yoo-hoo!
on Amazon.com. I'm sure that Andy put a link up to buy
yeah.
it. And a really neat book. And we've started selling copies right away. We're really excited. It is the little book of Big Evil, and it is about the darker entities that are out there. And it's full of true stories of people that have, seen them and dealt with them. So even Andy and I have our own stories in here. So it's, a really like scary story type of book. So do buy it. And well, if you want to send it to us, we'll sign it. If
Right.
you want to do that,
And then go and leave feedback for them too.
please on Amazon.com. So we would love that. So Andy, what else is going on?
Um, Other than that, it's really just doing readings, doing lots of readings, and um, I don't know. It's just amazing. It's a good feeling when on a certain platform you end up getting a tip. So you know how that is, Debbie. You're like, wow, they really enjoyed the reading because they're tipping you at the end. So I thought that was a good feeling.
You just
So
got a good tip I saw. Good for
yeah,
you. Congratulations. That's really neat. Um, yeah, I know that you're doing a lot of readings. I'll segue to me. Lots of readings. And also, I'm teaching a class Saturday on magic candles. So I'm Wiccan trained, so I'll be doing that. And then on Sunday, I'm doing salt blessing jars, doing teaching about and more. And what you can do because we have a full moon coming up on the 27th, 28th that night. So this Friday on our show, I am going to be doing a show just about primarily. We'll do like let's do half readings for people, and the other half, I'm going to use a downward camera and I'm going to show everyone what they can do for the upcoming full moon. Some of the little
right.
spells for money and love and things like that. So I've been preparing. I have notes everywhere. I have to make sure I have all the ingredients. I have to go to the store and get some things. So it's going to be very interesting. If any of you are into the pagan, the Wiccan things, or just using energy or natural things to charge with under the full moon, I'll tell you all about it on Friday. So I'm excited to do that. So lots of stuff. I do have a missing persons case that's wrapping up, and I'm using CSI Lenormand group. They're going to be helping along with the people from the Dead Talk. Tomorrow night is the Spirit Circle on Psychic Fixes meetup, And if you're in San Diego, you can join it. Some of the best, well, I have the best mediums and psychics in my group, the Dead Talk, and they're going to have, like, we'll call it a seance. They're really, really great, these girls. They'll get, and guys, they will get the names and they'll bring in the spirit and they'll describe them and they'll give messages. And it's quite inexpensive. Londie, I don't know. What is it, $2 or?
Yeah, $2.
Can you believe it? I just go, yeah, and it's going to be better than most anything you've ever done, you guys, if you go, because they really do. I mean, and I'm not going to make it to that one because I'm a little busy. Got to wrap this case up, but they will pull out your grandma's name and tell her what the cat's name was and where they lived and all kinds of stuff, and whatever grandma wants you to know. So they're amazing. If you're down in San Diego, you should always catch the spirit circles. It's a good time for everybody to hone their skills and keep them razor sharp, and so inexpensive for everybody to go. And we just ask if you've got a picture or a piece of jewelry or something the person owned, and just bring it. And that's how I do it. And it just amazes me whenever we do it. And you can just hold it, and then I see, here comes grandma, and then everything around grandma and what grandma wants you to know. It's just amazing. So that is what's going on for me. And so now, Londie, how are you?
I'm good. Really
great.
Really good. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
I got feedback from somebody. So
you
like hearing me twice, it's like, oh my gosh, no. I was, as far as what I'm doing, I've spent most of the day talking to people about writing my first book.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
So that'll be kind of fun. I'm trying, I think what I'm going to do is, in fact, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a book about how to know if your abilities are true abilities, and what goes into being a psychic, take the fear factor out of it, that kind of thing. I want to try to instruct people on where to go online to find out good information. So one of the things I'm going to do is get permission from several of the websites to see about actually including their website in the book itself, so that people have some kind of a go-to reference that they can just go, oh, I need to find out this, and then go to it. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And the other thing that I'm going to do, I've decided I'm going to start doing readings. Now, you told me about Bonanza today, and I'm thinking I could do that, or I could go to the Fiverr, and I'm not sure. We'll discuss that later. But that's what I want to do, is start doing my own readings, because people keep asking me, and I'm like, oh, it's easier to not charge anybody, because then if I'm wrong, they don't get mad at me. So
everybody starts out that way, Londie.
Yeah.
And you've been reading for a long time. You've been a medium for a long time, but
forever. But I've never done it to where I felt like I was responsible for somebody. It's like doing it for fun is different than paying to get it done. So I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. It'll be fun.
Oh, you're great. Everybody got to get a reading from her when she comes out. Okay?
Yeah, that'll be great. I hope when I come out of the closet and start being a real psychic, you
are a real psychic.
As far as the other stuff goes, I've been doing some counseling this week, which has been a real interesting time. And I've had an occasion with one of my friends who has cancer, and the friend has been seeing strange things in her home, and so she's trying to decide exactly what they are. And so she contacted me, and she's like, "What do you feel? What's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't think that there's, I think she's a kind of." Just like what your thing says, conjured up her own little scrabblies and things. And so I've been trying to counsel her on trying to reduce her fear, because fear just feeds into it. It's almost like you're doing a self-fulfilling prophecy whenever you start going down that path. Do you find it to be true too, Debbie? I mean,
There's a lot of things. Now, is she's seeing something, right?
Yes. She's been seeing black shadows, something moving really, really quickly in the home. I even went to the effort of saying, well, are you on specific? She's not on chemo right now, but she is on some medications. And so I'm like, that could also be contributing to it. So you have to kind of decide or differentiate between what is actually internal and what is external, so
as far as the medications go, she can look to see if anything would give her a hallucination or not,
right.
or even the chemo or any radiation. But
Right.
if she can exclude that, there's still a lot of things that you're looking at as to what's going on. Now, she have a history of being sick, or is this recent? Or is there a lot of it?
For about the last 3 years, I think it was about 3 years ago that she discovered she has cancer, and had to have a partial mastectomy. So she's had a lot of reconstructive surgeries as well as the surgeries for the cancer itself, and she has the cancer back again, unfortunately for her. And so, but she's not started on a new chemo yet. She's waiting for approvals, which seems so. That's just disgusting to me that they have to wait because you got to get approval for somebody instead of going ahead and taking care of the problem. But yeah, she has not had a real history of being ill until she got the cancer. So,
okay. Well, there's a couple things I want to get into. One is you would want to make sure that anything that's in the house isn't making her sick, and but it could be the house. That makes that sick house or sick building syndrome, mold and water, ground, radon. There's all kinds of things like that. But as far as seeing the creatures, we were thinking, I know when you came to me, you were talking about the Scrabblies, but they really just kind of hang around. They just kind of, they don't go running.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, because, and I, the only thing I could call it to you was Scrabblies, and then you would understand what I was trying to say. But yeah, these are very, very mobile, and evidently will even follow the dog. It's what she says, which makes me kind of even go, if she's looking at the dog and she's got her focus in that direction, then perhaps she, again, is kind of manifesting her own fear into a dark mass, because I've seen that happen before where, I've heard many, many times where like a teenage girl can cause all kinds of havoc in some homes because of the hormonal changes. Guys do it as well, but I hear more about women or young girls doing it as opposed to
poltergeist, right?
Exactly.
That's when they start saying you have a poltergeist in their house.
Yes, and when things start moving everywhere, which is like, hi, is it Lisa or Lisa? Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa. Yep.
Lisa. Hi. Yep. Well, hello, Vicky.
Hi, Dolores.
Oh, hi, Carlos. Nice to see you, Carlos. But yeah, so I'm thinking that she is actually, it may actually be something, but I don't get that sense of any evil or anything associated with any of this. I really think it's more of a manifestation of her fear. And to me, so if you've got any insight in that, that would be great, because it's something I think that a lot of people had happen. I've had many people who say that, I was talking about the teenage girls who have said that, when there's illness in a home and there's the stress of the illness, and especially if they have like teenagers or young people in the house, even somebody that might be 10 or 11 years old, sometimes even in that occasion, those people create a stress with the children, then the children, don't know where to put that energy. And so they outward do it. And so that's where the poltergeist activity and some of that, psychokinesis stuff goes on, where things go missing or things go moving all over the place. So,
hey, Londie, this is how I feel.
Okay.
If she's got something that's manifested that she sees it and it's running,
Yeah.
A lot of times with the kinesis and stuff, you're going to see something float across the room, that type of thing.
Right.
Like wrapping and this, that, and the other. Yet she's seen something dart around. So the Scrabblies, as we have in our book, and we talk about this hanging dark energy, and Amy on the Dead Files first, described that, and that was amazing because I go, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But once they kind of graduate to something bigger, then you have a Gumby that's usually child size, and that can get around, and they can stay benign for a long time. But if the grief or the illness or the stress or sadness comes in or fears gets bigger, then they're going to grow with it, or they'll bring in another one. Now, I believe that people don't make those, that there's something that we're going to call being conjured. So we're opening a portal and we're bringing some, dark matter in that can form. And so at this point, I wouldn't worry, but I'd want to banish it out. It doesn't hurt for her to get her house cleared and to have somebody to come in and check for portals, but you did go around the house and you felt okay about it?
It was okay. And she does sage. So that makes me even more suspicious of why that would be staying in her home the way that it does.
Well, sage can dispel the dark matter, but it's not going to close a portal.
Right, sure.
So if the things can just retreat back, and I've gone into houses where the portal's open and we get the stuff in there, and then it needs to be closed. And so I really it doesn't hurt for her to have a group go in, maybe a little paranormal investigation, and then go searching, good medium, search for a portal, and then make sure everything's put and sealed and gone. But I don't believe that it's something that, since she sees it, my feeling, and I don't know, Andy, how you feel. I feel that this isn't something that she's conjured, not conjured, but she's, done on her own. She can make things move and make knocks and all of that, but I think it's something else. What do you think, Andy?
I almost feel like it could be a combination. What it feels like to me is like the portals were already open and there, and then maybe the timing of her as a teenager, and whatever it's called, her hormones are changing. It probably could have help create those Scrabblies and other things too.
Okay.
Yeah. I differ a little bit on that, but if she is sensitive, then she's going to see things.
Yeah.
And
I think she really is very sensitive, I believe. So.
Mm-hmm. So I just think that she's seeing something that's running around the house, and it's kept small because of, and it's not going to hurt anything because she's saging. But, her energy is going towards healing. And so it's hard to be at full power, guys, when you've got cancer and it's come back and the stress and all of that. If she has kinesis ability, then that's going to go a little wild. In addition to that, and then she's trying to sage and her body's trying to heal. It's really hard when you have your body immune system is working towards healing you, and then it's got to go do other things, your worry and your anxiety and your actual cancer. So, and any toxic stuff put in your body through treatment. So she really, I feel like, needs to jump on this. And, I'm sure if she's local that the Dead Talk can go in and do this for her and just check and make sure nothing's open. And then from there, she can, she'll have, okay, now I know what I need to do and try to do that. Do we have extra people in? Oh, Wendy, hi, I'll see you later. So, it's very, very interesting. But I would say first to have it really. I'm not worried because you've looked, but I feel like they need to be taken care of because when you have dark shadows or if you have the scrabbly stuff, there's the low energy and also the energy that pulls things down, and it's sad and negative. So she needs to not have that going and trying to work, that's a little against her when she's trying to heal. So we need to really get her to where she has a real safe house and she can go in and get healed. Absolutely.
I tried to tell her that fear itself can cause. Oh, I got so much.
There's feedback.
I'm trying to plug into my audio and it's not working.
It was like every time I said a word, it was.
What do you hear back?
Must be yours.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go out. You guys have the show. I'll be in the lobby and I'll switch my audio. Okay.
Oh, sure.
I love this. Every single time we have a show, we have something happen. All right.
You and me together, Debbie. We always do this.
Well, here, let me try if I can see if I can do this.
I'll bet you can.
No.
No, it won't. Okay.
It won't let you. I'll be back.
That was a very poor Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's okay. So anyway, I one of the things I tried to tell her specifically was when there's an illness as severe as what hers has been, and a recurring one, unfortunately for her, then the fear factor gets exponentially multiplied, of course. And so that makes it even worse because she's feeling like she's at the edge of possibly passing away, and so it's like she's living on the edge of where the next realm is at. And that's the other thing that I kind of wondered about is there a possibility that maybe she really is, seeing something because of almost, crossing two worlds at the same time. It's not that she's about to die or anything like that, but I mean, because of where her body and her mind is, perhaps she's basically kind of living in both. I don't know. It's really strange.
It does. I mean, I could see that. I could see that happening.
Yeah, it's a little frightening. I can't even imagine having to go through it once, but to go through it at least twice or three times is, I can't even imagine. So anyway, and so what else have you been doing there, Andy? Well, let's just keep this going.
Well, just keeping busy, and that's really about it. Enjoying this nice weather.
Is it beautiful there too?
Yeah, it's like in mid-70s here in Montana. So,
and for those of you who are watching at home, that's what you do is talk weather when you don't know exactly what to say next.
Right.
So we'll catch up here in a second. Maybe she's about to come. There she is. We missed
not
you.
Working.
It's not working. Oh crap.
Yeah. I don't know why it's not. Usually I don't have to use it, but say something, guys.
Testing 1, 2. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
You're here. I'm the craziest.
It's not. Okay. Now I'm changing. Now say something.
All right. Hello, Debbie. How are you?
Now I don't hear you at all.
Oh, well then, okay.
Go on. Go on.
You're the fortunate one here. The rest of them are just fine.
Well, I can go ahead with the sponsors.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Tonight's sponsors is brought to you and me and all of you out there by paparazziaccessories.com. And I have the link in the description, but this is a really wonderful website. They have no catalogs. It's just fun, fashionable $5 accessories by Stacy Carr. And here, I'll post her. This is her address that I'm showing on the screen. And you do need the 187218 because that is her, it's like her page with that. So, and then our second sponsor brought to you tonight is Checkered Lily Apothecary by Kimberly Beauchou. And she's got curious beauty, bath, and body products. You want to check out her site as well. I will get that posted here. And Debbie was saying that she's got a new unicorn line that's out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So check that out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I set it to headset and then I can't hear in it. So
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry if you're going to get feedback.
Well,
Londie,
I just talked.
Can I get my headphones back from you now?
I thought I gave them to you. Are these yours?
You have my headphones.
I have your head. I thought, honest to God, I thought, okay, well then I'll bring these back to you because I was wondering where they came from. All right, yay. Well, either that or you come on over and we'll have to do a show from here.
I'll do it. Oh gosh, I'll do it. I love your place.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So we do have some new sponsors that'll be coming up. Also, Brave Warrior that does logos, does mine. There's behind me. So anyway, let's get back into this. Talking about all of this, I think it's really interesting that she's got something running around in her house. Definitely we can help, but I would like to talk about telekinesis or psychokinesis right now. I mean, do you guys ever feel like, have you ever seen anything fly around you, or do you ever feel like you had superpowers?
Oh, I wish.
You do, you're a medium.
I haven't ever had that experience where I've seen things flying around. However, when I was little, I used to practice because my favorite show was My Favorite Martian. And so I would try telekinesis all the time. Never worked. I kept trying. I'm still trying today, in fact. So.
Remember he'd use his finger.
Mm-hmm.
The uncle, he would use his finger and then the antennas would come up.
Yeah. Uncle Martin.
Right.
Uncle Martin.
Andy, what about you? Have you ever seen anything move or?
Really the only thing was my necklace from that spirit, that little boy spirit. I just watched him flip it up on my chest, but I can't think of anything at the top of my head, but I'm sure I've seen something. But it's not normal for me to see things flying across, and unlike you in your living room.
Yeah, it's normal for me and my kitchen. When I was with Kim, my niece, at her house, well, I used to walk around and banks of lights, in the grocery stores. The aisle I would be on as I walked, they're blinking. And then they'd stop and I'd go up the other aisle and they'd blink. And it was a natural thing in all the bathrooms and everything for lights to blink. That was one of the things. And I was at her house and the lights started blinking. And she said, hey, well, I want to see if, Grandma is here, which would be my mom. And she had tea and there was a tea bag sitting there. And the string of, she asked, if you're here, blink the lights. Of course, the lights blink. But as we were talking, the string of the tea bag just came all the way up and lifted straight up in the air.
That's amazing.
It moved twice that time. So she knew that my mom was there and communicated that way. When you're communicating with lights and stuff, you're really kind of just getting yes, no type of communication going on. Not like now they have the Ovilus app and all kinds of ways to communicate. In my home, I've had the remote float across the room, and I've had things like the cracker box, starting to go like this and then really fast. And I just sat laughing watching it. And so yeah, things like that. The big raps, the big thuds, and a lot of it was being very, very annoying to get woke up at 3 a.m. So I needed to stop that, and that's when I warded my house with the energy and stopped it, because it was just like, I needed to sleep. So a lot of paranormal activity, yet I know it didn't come from me. I know I didn't, sit there thinking remote move or
Right.
cheese it box go like that, or the cheese knit box, So I know that it was spirit doing it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you, when I was young, we were into all of this when I grew up. And my great aunt cooked at a spiritualist camp, and my mother took over that. So, we knew about this kind of stuff. But I always thought everybody had a force field around them. Because it was probably a good 2 feet out from my arm, and I could feel it solid all the way down. So I could feel it all around me. So I thought that was a normal thing. But outside of feeling like a power of that, my special powers were I was lucky, and I always knew what was going to happen. I could tell somebody, oh, you better not do that. I could say, I told you so if I wanted to all the time. But I wasn't making anything fly through the room or do anything crazy like that. Wendy said, I've had a wooden drawer pull out in the middle of the night. There's no metal rolling mechanism. It's all wood and heavy, as it was full of books and junk. Well, of course, you've got an entity in there that's manipulating things. I think a lot of people experience that stuff. And, doors opening and cupboard doors opening and all of that kind of stuff. Even sometimes the manipulation of the doorknobs, which I thought maybe something was trying to get into my bathroom one night, when I discovered it was the 6-year-old. So, trying to get in there. And so, you have to be on guard in your life. You're wondering to see if hey, that's happening, and then you've got to dispel it. You have to be a skeptic, you guys. You can't be gullible and think that everything that comes in is going to be paranormal. And this is the one wonderful thing about what we do, is that we make sure that we check on that, and that what we're doing is has a reason that it's making a noise or whatever, or hey, we can say that's paranormal. Do I see Jackie? I see Jackie. No? She's in the list.
No.
Well, there's a heart. Is that Jackie? I'm not really sure. So
It is.
Hopefully she'll be here soon.
You were talking about seeing the lights blink, and I'd forgotten all about that. I've had that several times happen to me, or to make them blink is always a fun thing too, So,
oh yeah, the crazy thing that Lena did was that we were out at that memorial, and she made the frogs chirp, or whatever they do. It's like, if you're here, make the frogs stop, and all of a sudden it was dead silence, and I was like, how do you do that? He said, okay, so you're here, so have them talk now or make noise. And then, we were flooded with noise. And so we could do yes, no that way. But that was crazy. Vicki had a comment, Andy, if you could bring it back up. I'd kind of like to see. Your shoes moved in different places. And also, Vicki, your pendulum moved. She keeps it horizontal on a shelf, and she took a picture because one day it was spilling over this way, vertical. So she's like, how'd that happen? So that was something. Yeah, or you know what? They take things and they move them around. So this is spirit doing that. It's not us. Yet I really feel, hi, Jackie.
Hi.
Let's say congratulations to Jackie. She's got a great promotion.
Thank you.
She got a promotion. Oh, well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. It's like office manager.
Psychic,
Right?
Yeah, I'm the office manager now of my store. So
Congratulations.
Yay!
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
thank
So,
you.
we were just talking about things moving in the
Hmm.
houses and noises and seeing things. I see like you guys probably have seen this where something you see something like like if it ran at supersonic speed, it would run by. So at see maybe at the corner of your eye something go and you go wow. So maybe a really fast kind of entity or spirit or something running. In my house, of course, we see spirit and people come over and they see spirit. I saw a guy in spirit, ride in on a motorcycle and straight up to me when I was doing a reading for somebody.
Was it a Harley or?
Yeah, he was dressed at Londie in 1950s clothing and the haircut and everything, kind of greased back, the whole 9 yards. When I connected it to the client and I said, so I have this guy and he's 1950s and he's on a motorcycle, the leather jacket and everything, the hair, everything. Then she showed me a picture and said, is this him? And I'm going, yeah. And she goes, so that's my brother. And I said, he wouldn't be old enough to live in the 1950s at that age. There's no way. And she said, no, he had an infinity for the 1950s. So he dressed that way anyway because he thought it was really cool. And then she said the significance of the motorcycle was that he went out for a ride and he was killed on his motorcycle. And I said, well, he's fine. He just wrote it in. He just wrote it through my living room.
He didn't give it up in the afterlife then, is that what you're saying?
No, they have to bring things in like that to give validation.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying he's on a motorcycle. He just rode in. He's got the jacket. He's got the hair, 1950s. And then she knew it was her brother. So they just give you those things to give validation because that's what we're all about is that we want our clients to know. Wendy says, I love how Debbie described my grandfather. He doesn't look like you. Wendy was here at my house and we had a bunch of people here and I said, this guy doesn't look like you at all. And I said how tall he was and he was very, very, very light skinned. And Wendy, didn't I say he had a set of golf clubs or something, or he said, say golf. And I couldn't understand because, you try to connect a relative, usually you want to connect a relative and Wendy's a little bit more olive skin. And I'm like, it doesn't look like you. And it was that they weren't blood related. So that's amazing. But yeah, I if it was Wendy with the golf, that was their code word or whatever. So yeah, she asked him to tell me golf and I'm looking at her, I'm saying, I get golf. I got a golf club, I get golf. And that there was the validation that it was grandfather, right? So amazing. It's so much fun to do readings, isn't it?
Yes.
Really is. I love it. I love when we can tell people golf. Or the one guy that I kept saying dog. Like I was a crazy person. Dog. Because I did a past lives. Crazy stuff. We're going to do a past lives one show. So going back into the past life and talking to him, sat next to me when he was in a past life. And kept getting dog. And then he told everybody that he told the other side that if somebody got in his face and said the word dog, he could make a major decision in his life that night. And so here I was just looking right at him going, dog, thinking I'm never going to do another past life again because this cannot be validated. And yet, amazingly, the dog did it. That was like, I literally was like off my chair. I was like, that was amazing. So let's see, what do we have here? Andy, can you read that?
Yeah, it looks like Lisa is saying, I seen my son and my brother-in-law at my brother-in-law's funeral. They were standing at the end of the casket looking at all of us.
I had a similar thing happen to me at one of the funerals of one of my relatives, and it was an uncle who had passed away. And not too long after that, one of his sons did. And during the service, all of a sudden, it was like, I don't know if it was an impression or just exactly what happened, but it was like they were leaning on a banister looking over is what came to me. And it was just the funniest thing ever. And I'm like giggling and feeling terrible for giggling to the funeral. But I'm like, well, at least they got it together, but that was.
Well, I have one too.
Okay.
So I didn't experience this because I was in a high chair facing the dinner table, but my parents and my grandparents and then 5 of us kids were at this grandma's big table having dinner, and my grandfather's father, and I wasn't related to him, blood related, but his father had passed. And so they said that we were all eating dinner, and my grandparents looked up, and right past me, there's a hallway, a door that goes into a hallway. And there he was standing there smiling and just looking at everybody at the table. And then he walked down the hallway and disappeared. And the neat thing is, it wasn't like one person saw it. It was multiple people saw him in the hallway. But she had a really scary house. I got to tell you this. I didn't like the house. It had really bad vibes. I mean,
is it okay if I answer Brittany's question? Because she's asking about who's with her, and I just got
sure. Could you bring up the question? I didn't get to see it. Okay.
She says, can you please tell me who's with me? And she's asked like 3 times. And finally it was like, because I was like, well, could it be a grandma or something? And no, it's a friend who passed away. It seems to be a guy. I don't know if that means anything to you. And it's been within the last 5 years that this guy passed away. That's what I'm getting. So if he's not a close friend, then he's a relative that maybe you haven't had a whole lot to do with before, because it's like they're not super, super close. It's not like feeling related. So.
Okay. Well, that's great. Did anybody else have any questions out there? Hey,
I kind of had one. It wasn't posted, but I think there may be that some people may be confused on the term conjuring, or like as mediums, I know in my experience I can ask them to come through, but it doesn't mean that they will. All the time. And I think sometimes people think that that's what we're doing is conjuring, and it's not. So I don't know if you guys have any insight into that.
Conjuring to me would be more of maybe a Wiccan type of term, when you are casting a spell and you're trying to bring something through purposely. So we're trying to have at some people, some kind of spirit come through, or entity come through, or maybe even people, are summoning a demon. So we're conjuring, and we're trying to make something, say, tangible, materialize. So we're conjuring, meaning intent, maybe us casting a spell with crystals and herbs or incense, or however we do it, incantations. A lot of times when you're doing spell work and stuff, you are saying something over and over and over, which I'm going to be telling people on our Friday show. Everything I do is white, guys, white magic. There's no gray for me and no dark. And if you know what's good for you, you wouldn't cross that line. When you do dark, then it can come back at you. Okay, so we want to try to do light. But conjuring to me is when you're purposely trying to materialize something, to bring something through, to make it solid, type of thing. So, I mean, what do you guys have any feelings on it?
I was so busy reading that I missed part of what you were saying.
Oh, okay. So conjuring. Yeah. I just think it's purposely bringing something through, and I think it takes a person to do that, to bring something.
Yeah. Oh, what I started to say was in reference even to what we were discussing earlier, is I have seen several TV shows where it seems like the power of suggestion for the person watching some of these shows is so strong that they want to bring somebody or something because they want to have that experience. It's a very dangerous game, folks. You don't play with this at all. I mean, it's just, it's one thing. I can't help it. I didn't ask for it. I've been this way since I was like 4 years old, something like that. But other people are seriously trying to get the abilities. Everybody has them to a certain degree, but whatever you do, don't just try to bring something through because you don't know what you're going to get. That's all I'm saying.
And that's like even the Ouija board. Yeah. And I've got 2 relatives that use it a lot and communicate, and to them it's a tool and it's absolutely harmless. But in my experience, that it opens a portal. Whenever you invite something in, even when I'm doing a spirit circle, I do a special thing where I invite the, good spirits of people that have passed and whatever, that they are allowed to come in. But you better believe that I'm getting them out afterwards. And it takes some experience to know what you should do. Opening yourself up to this stuff can be harmful, and we know that. So one of the things would be, when people are practicing witchcraft, and I'm absolutely okay with witchcraft, you guys, as long as it's white. But whatever anybody wants to do, that's their thing. But if you go in just thinking it's fun to go on a paranormal investigation. It's fun to get scared. It's fun to whatever. There's risk in all of this. But definitely when you bring something and you're going to open a portal up and then something, comes through. And Vicki had you had some guy that, if I get it right, Vicki, that there's somebody with a Z name and that's a demon or something that comes through now. That's what they were saying. She was saying on our talking about it on our website, our fan page, where it comes through at other people's, wherever they are doing a Ouija board, and that it's supposed to be a strong demon. So I don't know anything about that, but if Vicki, if you are still, you can type that to us. But, you're opening a portal and you're letting things in. So shield and cleanse.
Absolutely.
Right. Protect. Absolutely. So, yeah, I wouldn't mess with anything, that's for sure. Hey, I know we only do readings on Fridays, but maybe if somebody had a question, we could do a question or 2. That would be kind of fun since we have Londie this time. And I can get my cards out. But definitely, that's where it's good to get a mentor. I think that if you're going to do anything that's Wiccan or anything like that, get trained. It's not always clear in a book. You can't pick it up and then go and cast a spell and didn't do your homework as to how do you protect yourself first, how do you make a sacred space, and all of that. What do you do to make sure that you not let something in? And you'll know if something comes in because number one, you'll see something, you'll feel something, or a lot of times people will feel bad luck comes in, or illness or something like that. Yeah. So you got to make sure, and those of you that are moms and stuff and you have kids, you got to be careful, especially Andy, that who was it that the little girl went and got the Ouija board app? I never knew anything about the Ouija board.
And really? I didn't know that there was one. I should have known, but gee whiz, that's just dangerous.
Yeah. Well, you got to know what your kids are doing, and all the games and everything they have now. It makes it very attractive to, especially came out with Harry Potter and all of that, which I absolutely love all those shows. But the Charmed and all of that, it was very attractive to fight demons or to have magic and to be psychic and all of that. But you really need to be taught. You know, you need to have a mentor would be really good.
Yeah.
And they can help you increase your psychic ability or your mediumship capabilities and all of that. Even Andy, you went through a class on mediumship.
Yeah, I did. My training was, I mean, to me, my personal opinion about certification is just saying like that you've actually gone through a process or a standard, and I would recommend if you do that, that it's a well-known kind of facility, or if you, I get very kind of iffy on this because there's so many people out there that don't have the training to teach people, and here they are
Giving out certificates.
yeah, printing them off, or their quality of work isn't that great.
Yeah. Well,
they
this
can't
is
validate
how I
their stuff.
believe.
So
Yeah, it's a great thing to put out there right now. I'll tell you how I feel about being a certified psychic. I think that you're certified taking a course, somebody's course, but there's no set standards in the United States for this. So you're not certified as a psychic. If you could do that, then your grandma could certify you. Anybody could certify. There's no standards, you guys.
You give me $50 and I'll certify you too.
Yeah, you're certified. They can be certified. So there's this is how my opinion is. If you take a course, then you get a certificate of course completion. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that should stand there. You have that, but it can be by anyone. You could go to a 3-hour course and get a certificate. You could go 6 weeks and get a certificate. So there's no standard here of hours or what, or people can make it up. So, but so you can go and get certified that you went through this course. I think that's a good thing. You know, I feel like it's okay. But you cannot be certified as a psychic. Okay. You cannot be certified as a medium.
Don't you find that the best way to be certified is when you get feedback from people who you've given the readings to? And, yeah, the validation of what you've said to them is better than a certificate to me, because I can hang it on my wall, but it's not the same thing as somebody going, you know what, you were right about so-and-so. And I was like, oh, really? I do stuff just for the fun of it on a couple of the Facebook pages that I belong to, because I like to keep my hand in trying it. And I just joined one here this last week, and you have to put that you are an unapproved reader.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like,
okay. They can approve you?
Yeah, but
they can approve you?
I guess they can. But I'm like, how are you going to say that I am really a psychic? I mean, the only way to do it is to get in there and go, okay, I'm an unapproved reader, and here's what I think. Because they've got all these people that are approved. And I'm like, how did you get approved? And
they're approved because they did a reading for that person, and the person felt it was validated. That's why. They'll do a reading for 3 of the admins or something like that. Well, so that's okay. It's okay.
I got the first 3 that I tried. The last one was back yesterday, I guess it was. And I was right on them. And I was like, yay, at least it's in print that I did something that was right. But it's just not the same, so.
No. I think being certified is kind of a more newer thing anyway. And, you have to go that the old psychics like me and stuff are pretty darn good. Yet, we're not going to get a certification or anything. It's all about a verbal referral from someone who said, I got a great reading from them, or reputation and reviews. So let's go R&R, reputation and reviews. There you go. There's a person you want to go spend your money at, or go to whatever the deal is.
And
absolutely.
Thanks to you and Andy, I have one of the best friends I've ever had in Tom Zawalski, who's here, which is awesome. He's very, very sweet to me, and we talk a lot. Shh. Don't tell me that.
Andy, do you have your Psychic Life mug?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
I got a new mug.
Ooh, nice.
There's that.
I think it's appropriate.
I saw yours.
Yeah, yours is hilarious. There's a chance this could be Jen.
No, somebody said margarita was better, and I went, really, if it was going to be something in that genre, it would be, because I don't drink, but I just thought it was hilarious. Because you have those days. You have those days where,
Lisa, by the way, you were asking earlier if is it your granddaughter? Did you say that it may be seeing your son? And I do believe that is exactly what's going on. I think there's actually someone who comes with him, however, that might be a woman. So if she actually all of a sudden goes, huh? Yeah. Do you know if it's, yeah, that my granddaughter keeps seeing. Yeah. So that's basically, I keep getting that there's two people that she's been seeing. I think she talks about one of them. The other one makes her a little bit nervous. I think it's because she looks a little strict, is what I'm getting. And it may be just enough to intimidate her just a little bit. But yeah, that's exactly what's going on. So I'm glad you realized that.
Well, that's really hard when we get clients that come and, they've got their children that are seeing things. And it's really, really hard when they're, afraid. And so you can either, try to protect them, but when they're sensitive like that, you've got to work with them. Yes. And make sure everything's good energy around them, but you have to work with them. So that the worst thing is when the people and so many mediums have grown up with the parents that said, you didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. You didn't see a thing.
And that's what I just started to say is the fact that kids they don't have any mufflers, because they basically, what they see, they just talk about, regardless of what it is. So you can pretty well trust that if they're telling you that they're seeing something, that they're really seeing something. That's the first thing. And believability is so important to a child at that age. Validation, regardless, is even if you don't believe specifically that they might be seeing something, validate that child anyway, because I'll tell you what, if they are seeing something, it can go against their psyche so bad that it can haunt them the rest of their life. I know for a fact. So,
oh. So that was a personal thing, wasn't it?
Did you see how vehemently that came out? It didn't mean to.
Yeah,
but
I guess I was lucky when I was growing up that we were so open. We would read this magazine. It was a little magazine called Fate that would have all the weird stories and all that in it. And my family just ate it up. Though we had a lot of paranormal things happen in our homes we were in, and we saw ghosts and all of that stuff. But yet I'm the only one who came out as psychic, and doing the readings and all of that. So that is strange to me. And then when I met some of my Native American family, which one of them, Dolores, is on there now, then one of the first question, I think the first question I said, is there any healers or psychics in the family? Because I don't know where this came from. And then, yes, indeed, there were shamans and healers and all of that. So that connected me a little bit more. But it's something to be in a family that is open to all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And that in all kinds of different ways, open to all kinds of things. It's not a secret that my sister is gay, and she absolutely, that was one thing she kept secret, but it was so great when she did open up to that. But my family was really great for me in my gift, that it wasn't something that they wanted to suppress or not let anybody know. which was good. So anyway, we're coming up on time. What did it say? Brittany says my house burned down after
she saw the shadow. But I'll tell you what.
Okay, what was the shadow?
She had seen shadow in the house that she used to live in. But the thing that I'm getting is he's thinking that the shadow caused the fire. And what I'm thinking is that the shadow was actually trying to warn you. It was like a little warning as opposed to it being something that was malevolent. It was somebody that was actually trying to protect you. And the message didn't get through to you like what they were hoping that it would. So, which they feel terrible about, by the way. So,
well, there's more than one shadow.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. If you ever have a bad feeling anywhere, guys, that's when. Okay, so your psychic alarm down here in the stomach. If you have something go and you go, oh, I don't, people go, I just don't like the vibes, or I feel a little funny or something. That's your psychic alarm. And I get it right here in the stomach and I know there's danger. And it's always right. So develop that. Know that something's going on. So if you're in a house and you have an uneasy feeling, that's the time to cleanse it. That's the time to find out its history. That's the time to make sure we got no portals or anything going on there. So you need to have good energy and feel really good in your house. And now I ward mine extra. And so when people come in, they can instantly feel it. But it's warded from the sidewalk, and then we're going through a front yard and into the house, backyard, and around it, the top of it, and underneath. So we've got like a big bubble that we live in, good energy. So, you have to put a little time into that, and you have to keep up good energy. And if you need to know about that, just private message me, because it's important for us to feel safe and wonderful. And I think that makes us more healthy. So Brittany says, I know, but I seen my whole family in a dream tell me to wake up because my house would burn. So Brittany, you were in the house when it went on fire. Did they have a reason that it started the fire? Was it electrical or anything like that? You could write to us if you can do that. Can you imagine? That's so scary. Now I get woke up, but not for an emergency like that. So one day I wanted to get up early, and I was setting the alarm, and I told I just said it out loud. I'm going to set it for 7:30, but in my head I set it for 7:40 because I thought, oh, I'll sleep 10 more minutes, and I put it down. And in the morning, they know not to knock 3 times. I stopped that a long time ago. So in the morning, I got a very prim and proper 4 knocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I woke up and I could hear it knocking, and I went. And I looked right at the clock, and it was 7:30. And I go, oh, I forgot to tell you guys, I gave myself an extra 10 minutes. But I do naturally wake up at 3 a.m. Do you guys wake up at midnight or 3 a.m.?
It used to be 3 a.m. all the time, and now then I think it's gone on some kind of a daylight savings time because it's at 4.
So. Yeah. Me too.
Somebody didn't get the memo.
Drives my husband crazy. Come back to bed. I'm like, if I could, I would, but no, it's not going to happen.
Oh, well, we're just about out of time. Did Brittany answer that last question?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said yes, and then she said with my son and my boyfriend.
Oh.
Okay. So that meant there was a reason for the fire. Then to me, it would be a saving your life. To somebody metaphysically, you got your life saved. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. 3 a.m. You guys, anybody else get up at 3 a.m. that's watching? It's just, I always thought it was midnight. What was it on the old movies? It was always at the stroke of midnight, right? Yeah.
And then when I started watching like Ghost Hunters, they said it was dead time at 3 a.m. And I was like, ooh, that's cool. So.
Brittany, 3. I know it's 3. I don't wake up so much, but lately something's going on because I'm getting up at 3, and I know I need to reward my house. As I've said just about every week, my husband picked up all the wards that are supposed to be in the corners of the house and put them on the fireplace. So they're still there, and I do have to have the time to go and it's a process, you guys. And Carlos gets up at 3 a.m. So we should all be doing a show, you guys, at 3 a.m. Okay,
we have nothing else better to do. So.
Yeah, we could have a late night.
We could bring in a lot of psychics at that point.
It'd be like 6 a.m. my time.
That's
well, that's perfect for you. I forget that time changes. So, well, it's about time for us to go to the lobby, guys.
Hey, I thank you so much for inviting me. It's great.
Well, hang on for a sec. We'll go to the lobby in a minute. Jackie, are you going to get cake or do something special? Going out to dinner tomorrow?
I don't know yet. I had the person that used to be the office manager, who's now like an assistant manager, tell me that she might take me out tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, though. I haven't told. I mean, I told all our viewers.
Everybody knows now.
But now everybody knows. But who knows?
You know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Within about an hour after we close, we'll have almost 200 people that have viewed it, the shows. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
But so then you'll have a couple hundred people maybe that you don't know that know.
And everybody
so
call her boss.
Yeah, boss.
Wow.
That's really great news.
Thank
So,
you.
and Londie, you are an amazing medium. And and if you guys probably, some of you know, some of you don't know, amazing singer and entertainer. And we're just really blessed that you can just jump on and assimilate right into our show and help us out.
You. Oh, it's
Appreciate
fun. I love
that.
being here. Thank you.
And I look forward to going up to LA to the cemetery that you've been at and doing an investigation in a couple weeks.
It's awesome.
Oh, fun.
Columbo is there.
Andy, fly over. We're going to be going. We're going to go up to Patty Page was there. That has to be the most amazing headstone. I saw the picture that Londie put that I've ever seen.
Yeah. That wasn't there, though. You know where that is? That one.
Oh, where's that?
That's over here by Poway. It's actually, I'll have to get Larry to tell you where the directions are to get to the cemetery because
You're
it was
talking about Patty Page's in Poway?
actually close, very close. It's not in Poway, but it's just outside. And it's like, are you kidding me? I walked up and I'm like, Patty Page? Had no
Miramar?
idea.
Okay, so we're going to see Marilyn Monroe then.
Yes, we're going to see Marilyn Monroe and Hugh Hefner is there, of course.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. I don't know how much you paid, but at least sleeping with Marilyn. That's all.
And people kiss it. I'm not kissing
I
her.
know. It was like, no, I don't think.
No, that's nasty.
That's
You
like
got
going
hand sanitizer.
Oh, you know what? What's really weird is to go to the Valentino one up in LA where he's interred, and that is bizarre because you know how many people have been kissing on that over the years.
Who is that? Who is that?
Yeah.
Rudolph Valentino. Oh,
Valentino.
My God. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh, it's crazy. Lipstick
what was
everywhere. It's
crazy-
worse than Marilyn's. And
Did they ever figure out who wasn't the lady that brought the roses to him every year or something?
yes, and she evidently passed away because the roses stopped coming.
Kind of the lady in black or whatever. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, before my time, you guys. don't think it was.
I had one of the most amazing experiences there. I'll have to tell you about it sometime.
Oh, darn it. You can't leave us.
Until Friday.
Till next time.
Dang.
That's a cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. You have to come back.
Okay, somebody has to write it down. Where's our secretary? We're accepting applications for interns. We all need one.
And if you need a certificate, I'm all
I
there.
will certify you as an intern.
I'll just write her up.
When we went on, I only had one earring on, and they're dragonflies, brand new earrings. And I'm looking for that. The audio goes. I mean, I'm like, and my hair all went this way, and
that's life with Debbie, folks. I'll tell you right now. That's just about basically it.
It isn't pretty.
And she says the same thing about me. It's like and the two of us getting together. Oh Lord, have mercy. Move out of town. That's all I'm saying. It's just terrible.
What's really neat is there's some people that naturally can bond together and be psychic together. And Londie is my person. And we get together and then I just say, you know, so you tell me. And she'll tell me what I'm going to say. I mean, we did it
today, didn't we?
It's like, just right on. It's crazy. Yeah, we did. And so sometimes you can go and and I have a sister. So we've got two people in my life that I've tested. And my sister, we sat in a car and I go, so what am I thinking about? And she said, ice cream. I go, yeah. So what am I thinking about? So we went through 12 things, absolutely 100% right. And then I said, well, I'm going to switch the 13th thing to ice cream again. And I said, now what am I thinking about? She goes, ice cream. And I go, you're right. And scared her to death. This was Aunt Dorothy, Jackie. She said, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. And that was it. But
mine's gotta be my mom, because without even saying anything, I'll be thinking of something and she goes, you know what sounds good? We should have tacos for dinner tonight. And I'm like, get out of my head.
Wait a minute. She can probably say that every night and be right.
No. Hey, just because I like tacos. But no, or we'll say something like, she goes, you know what I was thinking about the other day? I was thinking about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'm like, I was just
and it was
memorizing
so random,
all
right?
of that.
Yeah, it's just random.
And I do that. I do the same thing to her because she'll be like, get out of my head. Why? And I'm like, I didn't know you were thinking about it.
It's really true that, you know, the thing is when you can do the telepathy thing, my son Stephen could do it to his friends. And I finally told him, you know, he lost some friends because they were afraid of him. And I said, you need to ask permission, because then they play a game and he'd tell them every time, everything that they were thinking. And I said, you need to really ask him permission, you know, so you don't scare them. And I said, absolutely, you can never read my mind.
I'll tell you something funny that happened to me actually yesterday. I had gotten up and I was sitting there and getting my hair combed and everything. And all of a sudden I started putting my hair up on top of my head. And I don't usually do that like what I did. And I fixed it like my mother's hair. And I was sitting here, I was laughing. I'm like, you look like your mom, only chubby. But here was the kicker to it. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, something's wrong with her. I know something's wrong. I thought I'm going to give her a call after a while. Well, before I had an opportunity to give her a call, my brother got a hold of me and told me that she had gotten into some poison ivy, and he was trying to talk her into going to the hospital because he said he didn't tell me how badly it was, but he said her face is all swollen up on one side and her one eye is closed. And I was like, holy crap. So my sister sends me a picture of it today. It's unbelievable. They had to take her to the hospital. They're keeping her overnight and had to pump her full of steroids and things. But I talked to my daughter tonight and she's like, I had the strangest thing, Mom. Yesterday I had the funniest dream about Grandma. And I told her, I said, did you really? I said, what was yours about it? So she told me what it was. And she's like, I never dream about Grandma. And I'm like, oh, really? So then I had to tell her that Grandma was in the hospital. So I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, it does run whenever you get the whatever, telepathy going.
Yeah. And well, it just shows out, at least one of your daughters is a sensitive and she has an ability. Yeah. So, wow, that's amazing. Okay, you guys, it's time to go to the lobby before this gets too long and boring for people. But us. All right.
Thanks, everybody, for
Thank
coming.
you so much. Bye.
Stay in the lobby. Bye.